On your screens right now, we're going to go to the Electoral Commission shortly. Israel Lai is standing by with the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Siribo Kwaku. And of course, right now, though, I want to take you to the Ashanti region shortly. But remember, we are counting down to 8 p.m. This is election night here on your election headquarters. This is election night here on your election headquarters. My name is Evans Mensah. Standing by, Studio 997 is Winston Amwa with his crack team of analysts. Standing by for me, Gary and George at the Situation Room, bringing you everything that is happening across the country, where we put it all together. Of course, right now, we are beginning to activate our specially trained expert collators who have been practicing for the last few months how to put the results together and call it in time accurately, right? You know us, we've done it all over the years, and we're going to do it again. Our team is on standby. Deploy the best software you can find in the world to put this together for you. Hopefully we get it right. We will get it right, as you know, on your election headquarters. They're working this on for us in your Situation Room and the Collation Center that we set up here. This is where it all comes down to. Electoral Commission headquarters, Israel Lai is standing by, as I said, with the Director of Electoral Services is also going to bring you the latest reactions from the EC also. But my personal favorite, I'm looking forward to the results. I'm looking forward to populating my map so I can give you a projection of who is likely to win this year's elections as my specially trained expert collators who've been working a lot in the last few weeks put the results together for us. Remember, in the next few hours, we'll get a good picture of this. But listen, I want to take you to the Ashanti region because that's one of the areas that has been hot for us today. Asawasi has been in the news. Press conferences held. Police reacted. Eraso Saridonko is standing by for us. He has some polling station results from a few areas he's put together in the Asawasi constituency. Where else? Erastos, you've been very busy putting together numbers for us. Is the picture emerging?
Yeah, the picture is emerging here in the Asawasi constituency. If you look behind me, quite a number of people have gathered here at the Abuabo Post Office School, and they are expecting the results to trickle in as the MP mounts a screen behind me to try to project results for the people here. I have some of the results coming in here. Let me share them quickly with you. I have results for Abuabo MA Primary School 2, and there for the presidential, NPP had 108, NDC had 362. We had GUM having 1, and then PNC had 1, NDP had 1. For the parliamentary, which is between the NPP's Ali Duseidu, who is the municipal chief executive for Asokore Mampong, NPP had 88, NDC Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak had 392, and the rejected ballots was 1 in the parliamentary section. Rejected ballots for the presidential was 6. Let's go to Kwamaria Islamic School, Abuabo Extension. For the presidential, NPP had 78, NDC had 296, CPP had 1. Rejected ballots were 2. And let's go to the parliamentary. NPP's Ali Duseidu had 63. Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak of the NDC had 307. Rejected ballots were 4. Expected voter turnout was 455, and turnout was 377. Let's quickly go to Massa Base, Abuabo number 1. Presidential, NPP had 89, NDC had 332, APC had 1, PPP had 1. For the parliamentary, between Ali Duseidu of the NPP had 81, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak of the NDC had 341. Rejected ballots were 1. Let's go to Grace International School, Akrem 1. Presidential, NPP had 109, NDC had 302, GUM had 1, PPP had 1. For the parliamentary, Ali Duseidu of the NPP had 88, and Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak of the NDC had 325. Now let's go to Enyinem Asokore Mampong 1. Presidential, NPP had 344, NDC had 46. For the parliamentary, Ali Duseidu of the NPP had 328, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak of the NDC had 63. For Enyinem Asokore Mampong 2, Presidential, NPP 366, NDC 26, and all the others had 0. For the parliamentary, Ali Duseidu of the NPP had 345, NDC's Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak had 47. So far, these are the polling station results we have from the Asawase constituency. We are still having more coming in, so in the due time we'll be having more of the results for you as we go on. Evans.
Erasto, stay with me. I want a picture. I want a general picture here. From all the polling stations that you've seen, who is in the lead? Who is in the lead in these polling stations? And I want candidate first. Is Muntaka in the lead, or his opponent from the MPP is? What is the picture?
When you look at what we have for now, according to what I have for now, then you could say that Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak is in a lead for now, but we've not gotten, this is just a small percentage of it. Let me say about 8% of it. So we're still waiting for more results to be able to tell who is leading in this particular crucial constituency in the Ashanti region.
Thank you very much. And let's put that caveat in. These are provisional results, and so it doesn't tell you much. What we're trying to do for you is to put a few of the collation centers results together before we tell you anything, giving you one collation center, except like in the case of the Nigo Pram, where we know St. George's Home polling center is. Maybe we can tell a story around that. But other than that, we put a few things together for you and then give you a certain general picture that we're beginning to see. And so I like the island, right? This is the island of Asawase. Can you spot the island, the picture on the smartphone? You can. Let me try and expand it for you a bit. Island here. This is the green island surrounded by a sea of blue. And that is in the heart of, as they call it, well, enemy territory. He has been winning this for a while now in Asawase, and he's hoping to do it again, Muntaka Mubarak. But as we said and analyzed for you, his one of his lowest margins yet was in the last elections. And the MPP, he gave the MPP, they smell blood, right? And they want to pounce. They've been putting a lot of resources in there, hoping that they can capitalize on that momentum coming in from the 2016 elections and hopefully win it this year. We'll see how that plays out in that particular part of the Ashanti region. I want to come back to the Greater Accra region. This is a swing region. Ashanti, we project, should be won by the MPP again. No doubt about that. In fact, we're doing some analysis shortly that will tell you, based on some variables, what percentage they should be winning it by. On average, we understand, we believe, of some 74% there, we believe they will pick it by this year when the final analysis is done. We'll see if it pans out shortly. We'll be analyzing that for you, showing the analysis that led us to come to that conclusion shortly. But stay with me a bit. I want to go to Greater Accra, and I want to focus in on one of the hottest places we've been watching. It's along the coast here. It is Ododo-Diodio. Now, Ododo-Diodio has been in the news today for all the wrong reasons, and I want to go back there and focus on that particular picture for you. Ernest Kojo Menu is standing by in this particular area with the latest news from there. Ernest, when we came to you the last time, people were pelting stones and the police were forced to step in, armed police, to calm tensions. Has anything changed now that nightfall is setting here on election night as we expect the final results from the collation center? Do we have Ernest?
Well, Evans, yes, I'm here. And let me say that we still have a lot of people gathering at the forecourt of the city engineering. Of course, there's still heavy police presence here, but I can tell you that it's a bit more calm than it was a few minutes ago when you came to me live. What is also happening is that the collation has started, and I want to show you that here, because right behind me is the collation, and the EC has mounted a projector. Well, it's gone off now, but this is what the EC is doing. Here are the city engineering. They are putting together the figures. Just a while ago, we could see actually polling station by polling station what the EC has done, the results from the various polling stations, put it in there in their spreadsheet, so that people who have gathered here, especially agents of the parties who have an understanding of what the situation is like. But I have a few of the results here with me, Evans. I want to share. Since 2004, when the NPP lost the seat, the people have predominantly have here looks the same. And so, for instance, right here, we had 6 centers. And let me give you polling station 3B, for instance. The NPP had 137, the NDC 233. Rejected ballots, we had 10. Then you have and that's for the presidential. For the parliamentary, we have the NPP, that's Neil Lante Banaman, securing 137 votes, and the NDC 233 votes. Another result here I want to share with you, Evans. The NPP, and that's for presidential, 136, and the NDC 223. GUM got 3 votes here, and the rejected ballots 11. So when you take a glance through the about 7 or so results, polling station results I have here, the NDC is in the lead, both at the parliamentary and presidential level. And so that is the latest from here. We also have the EC, some of the EC officials trying to sort out a bit of their materials here. But essentially, the calm collation is ongoing. And as it stands now, with a few polling stations results we have secured, the NDC is in the lead.
Yeah, Ernest, thank you very much. And that was as expected, indeed, because if you pull up the trends for Ododo, it is a green wall, right? It is a green wall of NDC winning in this particular area all over the years, because with the exception of 2000, they've swept it. This is a massive green wall in the Ododo constituency, and of course that follows with what NS has picked up in the provisional results as a way for the EC to confirm those results for us. We expect this again to go, except for some real major incident happening in terms of the voting, the campaigning this year. You expect the trend to follow. This is a trend, right? You expect the trend to follow. We'll see how that pans out by the time that all the votes are counted. So stay with me. Now, I want to stay in Greater Accra, and I want to stay within the general vicinity of Ododo to a neighboring constituency. We were here. Notice that. Let's go here. Here is my favorite place, called Eklote. I played there. I was raised in this area from Adabraka, yes. And so I know this place inside out. This is my hood, by the way, proud of the place. I want to go there because there's a lot happening there. Zanata Rawlings is in play. And on the back of the tragic passing of her father, we were wondering what would that mean for the polls this year. Well, are we going to see a certain play there that might impact on the outcome of the results there? Because if you pull up the trends here, I want to quickly let my map disappear for a while so I can focus on the trend for you. Let's tell the story of the trends. because the trend tells us that apart from 2016, this has been a swing constituency, a great predictor of the national elections. I say apart from 2016 because in the 2016, it used to be a purist swing constituency. And I define purist constituency, swing constituency, as the swing constituencies that vote, they keep faith with presidential and parliamentary each year for the overall winning presidential candidate. If they vote for you, presidential parliamentary indicates a certain win at the national level as well. And then in 2016, let me highlight this. There comes on the scene a certain Zenata Rawlings. And then somehow she introduces the concept of skirt and blouse for the very first time in this place I love called Koliklote. What did she do? She manages to win the parliamentary race by 50%, but somehow the presidential candidate happens to be the man from the opposing side, which is Nana Akufo-Addo. First time it's happened there. As you can see what the trend says there. So she is formidable. Is that the Rawlings factor? The father died recently. What does that mean for her? Is she going to increase his 50%, 50.3% this year because of that? We don't know. But what does that also mean for Nana Addo? Nana Addo holds it at the presidential race, as you see here, in this particular box here. Will he keep it or will John Mahama take it? Because if it's going to swing, it swings in an indicated contest. Because as you see here, in 2012, NDC wins both. Purist, remember that. Wins both, wins national. 2008, NDC wins both. Presidential parliamentary wins national. 2004, same story happens. They switched to MPP, win both. Presidential parliamentary, win national. I mean, that story continues all the way to 1996. I love that place. I love that place. They tell you a story of what is going to happen in the final analysis. We'll see how this plays out this year in that place. I also want to go to Charles Aite, who is joining me from this constituency that I've just been talking about. Koliklote. Hello, Charles. Nice to see you. You are in my backyard. I hope it's been fun. My people are very lovely. Have they treated you well?
They have indeed. And you can see the charged atmosphere at the Coalition Center at the Koliklote constituency. This is where all 224 polling stations have gathered with the various results as we await results. It's drizzling actually, so you can imagine the disarray behind me. But let me just walk you through some of the results that we have here from the Center 5 of the Kinta-Kawe electoral area. With the presidential, we have the NDC 214, the MPP going for 165. In terms of GUM was able to pull just 2 votes, and that's of the NDP 1 vote. The CPP got 0 votes, and the number of projected votes were 7. In terms of the parliamentary at the Rich Church School, we have in the polling station A. For the New Patriotic Party, it was 162 votes. The NDC had 176 votes. The MPP for the presidential, for the same Rich Church School, had 182 votes. For the NDC, we had 142 votes. The CPP was able to pull just 1 vote, and that of GUM pulling 2 votes, and that of the NDP also pulling 2 votes in total. For the presidential polling station B of the same Richard School, we had the MPP polling 173 votes, the NDC 150 votes, the GDP 1 vote, and in terms of the parliamentary, we're seeing the MPP taking 140 votes and the NDC 186 votes. So the results are coming in drips and drops, but that's the main reason why we're currently at the Coalition Center to give you all the results as they keep trickling in. This is the magic center where we get all the coalition in coming in from the 224 polling stations. In all, 97,234 voters are expected to have cast their ballots. And Evans, it's very interesting to note that we're looking out for 10 major electoral areas in this particular elections at the Koliklote constituency. We're looking at official town of about 11,347 votes. We're looking at Odona, Sahara, with about 10,418 votes. Also, that's of the asylum, down of 10,715 votes, Kinkawe and Alata. And interestingly, we have interacted with most of the people here who give us a hint that these are strongholds of the opposition National Democratic Congress. As rightly stated in your analysis, Korle-Klottey is a very magical state, unpredictable, a swing state as that, and we're just hoping to see how election pans out here, the result pans out here. But just to give you a little bit of the background in terms of how the whole place is looking, if I could just switch the entire Zoom for you to have a look at how the background looks around me. This is where the Coalition Center is. It has been mounted on the stage. The projection is on the wall there, and you could see all the various electoral officials from the various polling stations, and they've all mounted here. You can see the large crowd, the charged atmosphere. It's kind of drizzling, but they're just defying the odds to be here to monitor things for themselves. So we're going to be here till dawn, actually. We're told by 4 a.m., but we're just hoping that things turn out as quickly as they could. No rush, but we're just here to monitor the votes, to give you the updates as and when we do have them.
Charles, stay with me. I know you'll be tired by now. I have a great place to recommend for you when you're tired. Look for a place called Aponchi Spot. Fantastic place. If you are in Adabraka, you know this place. Ask anybody if you are looking for Aponchi Spot. Fantastic place. You want to go and get something to chew on and eat. Is Aponchi Spot still there, by the way? Well, it's been a while since I passed through my own hood, but it used to be a place to be. If you're tired, look for the place and get something to eat. Well, Champion is also there, by the way. I wonder whether they still do in the evening. You can find that one too, Charles, and enjoy it. But you know Champion, right? You're used to Champion, right? You should probably be eating Champion on our street here, Charles. Tell me you do.
I know Champion.
Yeah, I can see you're tired. I'm just recommending places for you. I like you very much. And so find a place and get rested. Right. We're waiting for you to tell us the outcome of the results there, because when we know the outcome of the results in Korle-Klottey, we are half of the way in predicting who might win the elections tonight, because they are a great predictor of the polls there. But let me tell you something else about Korle-Klottey. It is the place where we can talk about the dilemma of a daughter, right? So the daughter is Zanata Rawlings, and she went to vote today. The question is, who did she vote for? After voting for herself in a presidential race, did she vote for her mother because her mother is on the ballot contesting the president? Or did she vote for the presidential candidate of her political party, the NDC, John Mahama? The dilemma of a daughter. This is one of those things that you need to ask her when you speak to her. I know she won't tell us, but I'm very curious what she did after voting her name. Then you see your mother's name, and then you see John Mahama, who is your party's flag bearer. Well, they say blood is thicker than water. I don't know. Let's go to Israel Laye. Israel Laye is at the Electoral Commission headquarters. Israel Laye, who is the Osumon. Hey, Israel, you from Osu. So you are also in the same area called Korle-Klottey that we've been talking about. You must be excited about how nice our constituency has been to Charles Aite in there. Tell me I'm not lying.
It's been nice to Charles. The constituency has also been nice to the Electoral Commission because it's hosting the Electoral Commission. But from the Electoral Commission head office here, we've been also monitoring your analysis, and great analysis, and we're enjoying it. So if you can see, you're actually on screen right now. So if the cameraman can just pan to that and see yourself. Okay, so I have just taken over the screen, but you were there a short while ago. And interesting analysis or developments coming in from Hohoe. But yeah, let's come back in and have this conversation about what's been going on. Now, one of the things that, as we were watching the TV and your analysis and presentation, the issue of rejected ballots has been coming up. And I just was having a conversation with Dr. Sribo Kwaku, and he indicated that, well, sometimes the rejected ballots could be protest votes. And he's just going to explain that to us shortly. So you're explaining that the rejected ballots, sometimes people do this deliberately.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was one of the objectives of my thesis. And economically, he said that people can use rejected ballots as a way of protesting against the system. If you go to the Latin America, it came out of part of my research that they can get about 45% rejected ballot. So we talk of efficacy of the ballot. Either the people will decide not to vote or they will go and destroy the ballot as a way of protesting. So it is not always true that people destroy the ballot through being rejected as a result of ignorance. That's why you can conduct election among university elections and still have rejected ballots.
All right, so clearly what you're saying is we can't do away with rejected ballots entirely. They're likely to be with us for a long time. Now, let's look at some of the incidents that have come up and come to your attention. One of them has to do with the snatching of some ballot boxes in Sankore, I believe. What exactly happened there?
I've been told by the regional director that in the course of going to start the counting, some macho men stormed the place in the Land Cruiser and took away the ballot boxes for 2 polling stations, meaning that 2 ballot boxes for presidential, 2 ballot boxes for parliamentary.
Now, what does that mean for the people who have voted in that area?
The ballot box is gone. So we'll do the collation and the commission will take a decision. Usually the difference between the 2 candidates as compared to the number of voters in that particular constituency will determine, the particular polling station will determine the issue. For instance, maybe between the first candidate and the last candidate, there's a difference of 1,000. And if you put the ballot 2 positions together, there will be about 500. Then clearly it will not change the results. But if it can make the difference, then we'll be compelled to reorganize the election in these 2 polling stations.
Let's move to Asawase, where there were some issues that came up. The Member of Parliament, the incumbent, raised some issues with some ballot papers, some foreign material. There's been some developments. If you can enlighten us on the latest developments.
Yeah, the information from my regional director is that, one, the ballot papers were fake. They were not part of those that were printed by the Electoral Commission. They don't have even serial numbers. And according to him, the papers were lighter as compared to ours, and the quality of the printing too is also weak as compared to ours. And they don't have the serial numbers. And according to him, even Anab Muntaka himself accepted the fact that they were not part of our ballot papers.
So what is your suspicion, or what's your understanding of what may have happened in that particular polling station?
For now, let's wait. And as the person has been arrested, the truth will come out of the situation.
Okay. Now let's also talk about the Richard Ahiangba's case. There's a case of the Richard Ahiangba of the Dankwa Institute, who went to vote in K2 South, I believe, and where his name wasn't actually printed on the electoral register, but it was written. Now there are people who are asking, is it normal to have somebody's name written in ink instead of having it printed? What's your understanding of what's happening there?
I can't speak specifically to his case. I've tried getting the regional data and the details, I'm not getting them. But there's a few scenarios that I can use as a possibility. I'm not saying it's the same, but it's a possibility. Some of the people, I think so far I've talked about around 5 to 8 people. Their names are not on the printed register, but if you key in their ID card onto the BVD, their data will pop up, meaning that they are in the data, but unfortunately, when we're printing, they do not appear on the registers. So in such cases, once they are on the BVD, meaning that they can be verified on the BVD. So they are verified, then you use a pen to write their name, because once they are on the BVD, then they have been verified. So I don't know whether it's the same case, but when I get the officer, we'll establish that. So there are some people whose names are not on the registers, but when you key in their ID numbers on the BVD, their details will pop up. So in that case, they were allowed to vote.
All right, and then let's go to Tamale North, where we had BVD issues, and so people were still in the queue after 5 p.m. We're learning over 300 people were still in the queue. We know, or you tell me, that there's been some updates and the situation has improved. Please explain to us, first of all, what happened, and then how you have resolved it.
Thank you very much once again. There are three issues. One of it was that most of the old ladies' their fingers were not easily recognized by machine. So doing that, if one person goes there, all the 10 fingers will have to be scanned one by one. So that will delay the verification process. Then we have this issue that I was talking about, that somebody went there, the name was not on the register, but when they key in the ID numbers, the person's name pop up, and they said they will not allow the person to vote. And that also held the voting for some time before they allowed the person to vote. And again, the region that I was in, that a lot of them, I don't know whether they went to find whatever. So they came there after 3 o'clock, and they were more than 50% of the people. And all of them have to also go through. So these are the three reasons that he is telling me it has delayed. One, I said that somebody's name was not on the register, but it was on the BVD. So they should be allowed to vote, and they said no. They heard up the program. Two, the old ladies, their fingers were not easily captured. So they have to use the fingers one by one up to out of the 10. So it's also delayed, and a lot of them also came after 3 o'clock. So that also accounted for it. But I talked to him about 30 minutes ago, and they were left with about 20 people. So as I know, I believe that they might have finished voting.
All right, so that's the very latest we're getting from the Electoral Commission. They've made it clear to us that the action isn't going to be happening here as far as the collation is concerned. They're saying that the regional collation centers are the places to be for the results that are going to be coming in from the constituencies. And so we're monitoring that, and we're following developments from that place. But we're also here, and the Electoral Commission has been kind enough to us, Dr. Siribo Kweku has been kind enough to us to every now and then update us on developments or reports they're picking up from the field. And so as and when these developments come to us, we're going to be sharing with you in the studio. Fanofa, over to you now.
I want to understand, now that you have Cerebral Kwaku in front of you now, they say they want to declare the results within 24 hours. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. 5 p.m. has passed. We have what? 2 hours, 30 minutes after polling ended, right? So they have what? 21 minutes, 21 hours, 30 minutes more within which to call the elections. Are they really ready now that we know the game is on?
All right, so Dr. Siribo Kweku, and Dr. Siribo Kweku said I should tell you the name is Kweku, not Kwaku. So
he's always
how
me and I
far
still get it
are
wrong.
you in getting the election results declared within 24 hours after close of vote?
Yeah. Israel, collation has already started. And I believe that by 10, 11, 12, the results at the constituency will have been completed. And for the region, they are only adding up the constituency results. So that will not take them, if they are already, it will take them in 1 hour. So early tomorrow, we are expecting that they will have finished. And when they finish, then they are bringing the results for us to. So some of the regions, I believe, will finish before we go to bed today. And once that is done, we are only adding up the existing results. So all things being equal, we should be able to finish before the 24 hours.
Pretty much Accra should be fine, and most of the urban areas should be fine, but then we also have some far-flung areas, difficult to reach. What's the arrangement?
The arrangement is that we have planned for it, and there's nowhere in the county that takes more than 12 hours to move from that town to the district capital. So even if you give them that 12 hours, tomorrow by 5 o'clock, that would have been the 12 hours. So we are still sure that we can beat the time. Unless issues like what happened in Sankore come in. If people are taking the materials away and the rest, that is a different issue.
All right, so you heard it from Dr. Siribo Kweku. They're pretty much confident that they'll meet the deadline, Evans.
We are counting down to that. And Dr. Sirbo Kweku, just wave, because I know you can see me on the television behind you. The camera should pan to him waving at us so we can see him do it on screen. I got your name wrong, and I do sometimes, but you forgive us. And thanks for the great job you're doing at the Electoral Commission. I know you're doing great. Thank you very much. And our regards to Madam Jean Mensah, who has been doing some fantastic work, colleagues with her, of course, the team there at the Electoral Commission. We are hoping that they can keep to their 24 hours within which they hope to call, they declared elections, and the counting down has begun, right? They have 21 hours, 30 minutes to meet that expectation, right? Well, we keep that clock counting. For us here, I wouldn't give you a time. Let's wait and see what happens as we begin to tabulate our own results so we can give you a picture.